After the ball is over, after this game is done, after the die lot's finished, and you are short just one, many a knitter has made a tearful and desperate call, pleading with their local yarn shop, go after that ball.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast, episode 457. Excuse me, allergies. Today is Saturday, June 5th, 2021, as we are recording. I am Marlisha, also known as Lady Fernico.
And I'm Talia, also known as Franciscan Gypsy.
We want to welcome you all to the Fun in the Woman Cave.
You might want to look into allergy medicine with a decongestant factor to it. You'd have to get behind the counter, but it might be worth it for you.
Possibly. Want to welcome all new and returning viewers to the Fun in the Woman Cave. If you are new, we are glad you found us. We hope you see something that you enjoy and that you will return. If you are returning, we're always glad to have you with us. If you are new or returning and you are in the shadows lurking and seeing what's going on, please feel free, if you desire, to tap the little bell and subscribe so you can get notifications and know when we're up with our podcast. And if you like what we're doing and you want to take part in it, then you need to join us at our PHN home. The link is in the description box below the video. That's phnpodcast.freeforums.net, phnpodcast.freeforums.net, and that's where the alongs take place. We have a lot of camaraderie. We've been a little slow the last week or so, but it's picking up again. I think people are excited about getting out,
Yeah.
So, but that's where the alongs take place. We have a lot of camaraderie. We have a lot of support there. It's a really great group of people there. So if you want to join this, look at the description box. There's a little link there for that. Okay? All right. We remembered to do our tea time this time, our national park.
Yes, you had to talk about the...
Yeah.
But we are both having Sweet Amsterdam.
Right.
Strips. So which one are you having?
I pulled out a...
Is it Specular Spice?
Specular Spice, yeah.
And I have a caramel cinnamon.
Now this one, this is from Simpson & Vale. We had that National Park tea gift box, okay? And the one we decided, we both have the same tea.
Yes.
The one we decided to do today is Grand Canyon.
So we're going to the Grand Canyon, y'all.
We're going to the Grand Canyon, y'all. Let's see here. Get this out of here. This little kit was really good. They give you a good amount of tea.
Right, it's not just like some shabby little amount of tea.
No, it's not just like one serving per person, or two servings. There's like several in this Simpson Vale.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. Tea sampler. So it's National Park Collection, Grand Canyon. All right, let's just do this.
I can give the ingredients and stuff.
Got my glasses.
I think because you're doing everything else.
Okay.
So, this is Simpson Vale National Park Tea Collection, Grand Canyon. And you can see, nice large amount. There's still some in here. Each, we could probably get each of us 2 more tents.
At least, yeah.
And there's quite a bit left in here. So it's got black teas, prickly pear flavor, eleuthero root, Eleuthero.
Never heard of that.
Me either.
Eleuthero root.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things to pronounce here. Pau de Arco and red cornflower petals. I've never heard of red cornflower. Usually it's blue cornflower petals.
No. So, let's see here. Let's have a taste and then we'll go into Grand Canyon.
It has a fruity smell to it.
It does, like the Germany tea. It's
not quite as strong as the Germany tea.
No. It's very good. You like it?
It is good. I think it might be a little gentle for me. I enjoy it, but I'm not sure how much I would drink it. I think it might be another one for you. if you really like it, 'cause it's more fruity.
It is a very mild tea.
I don't tend to drink a lot of mild tea.
You can definitely taste the berry in it.
I have a feeling National Park is going to be, whereas I tend to go for the authors, I have a feeling National Park might be your line.
What I'm think I'm tasting that I thought was berries is probably the prickly pear.
I'm thinking I'm tasting the pear, yeah.
Yeah. It's very, very good. It's very light. This would make a good iced tea as long as you didn't dilute it. You'd have to make the ice cubes with the tea.
Yeah.
Or just keep it in the refrigerator. Okay, now, honestly...
Isn't there something called, like, sun tea or something like that?
Oh, yeah, we've done sun tea before. Dad and I used to do it in Texas all the time.
Maybe they can make that as a sun tea, then you don't really dilute it, right?
Well, you still have to have something to make it cold.
Yeah.
So, but you can keep it in the refrigerator, or you can
I think that's how Dad used to do it.
Yeah, or you can take an ice cube tray and take some of the tea, put it in the freezer, and then put it into the tea. Okay, now, Grand Canyon National Park in Arizona is home to much of the immense Grand Canyon, with its layered bands of red rock revealing millions of years of geological history. Viewpoints include Mather Point, Yavapai Observation Station, architect Mary Coulter's Lookout Studio, and her Desert View Watchtower. Lipan Point, with wide views of the canyon and Colorado River, is popular, especially at sunrise and sunset. And I got that from Google, just kind of had a little background information.
You do the search and it has like information like right there for you?
Yeah.
Probably
now,
from Wikipedia or whatever.
I found a place, there wasn't like a tea shop or anything like that.
It was really hard to find something that was interesting to talk about, because it's it's one of those ones I think it's more about seeing it.
Yeah, you really have to see. I mean, they have all kinds of tours that the donkeys or mules or whatever they take down, and they have walking tours. They have like helicopter tours, and they have all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a huge like let's go see the rocks. I like to have some trees with my rocks.
I do like trees and stuff, but I do like rocks. I remember in 8th grade I briefly thought about, because I thought about archaeology and stuff, but I also thought about geology. All the different layers and things are fascinating. I lost my...
I think the Grand Canyon's the one that has like a glass bridge.
It does.
Which freaks me out.
I couldn't stand on that. No.
I think that I would be crawling and you wouldn't be able to get me to move. I'd be petrified.
No.
If you somehow got me on it, I would be petrified and I would die.
They'd have to build a little house.
They would have to go and like carry me off, because I can't even handle elevators that have too much of a window. I just feel petrified. I don't like heights.
There's a place called Bright Angel that's a lodge that has a little bit of interest to it. And it was set up... There are two cabins in it that has some historic background. The first one is the Bucky O'Neill cabin, and that was built in 1890s by William Bucky O'Neill on the south rim of the Grand Canyon. He was a member of Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders, so I thought that was kind of interesting. He was an author and a judge in his native Arizona, prior to being killed in action in Cuba in 1898. So he was kind of an interesting character. Apparently he was instrumental in establishing what would eventually become the Grand Canyon Railway. So this is it was abandoned, but it was incorporated into the Bright Angel Lodge as a guest accommodation by the architect Mary Coulter that I mentioned earlier. Okay, and has really wonderful views right out its front door. Now, the other one that had a little bit of interest to it was the Red Horse Cabin, and this was rehabilitated and restored. From 1910 to 1935, it served as the post office for the Grand Canyon Village, which I thought was kind of cool. I didn't know there was a Grand Canyon Village.
Right. I mean, I guess there must have been,
I guess that makes sense.
It was a national park.
Yeah. So, and when it was slated for demolition, again, Mary Coulter intervened and convinced the building owner, who was the Santa Fe Railway, and the concessionaire, I guess
it'd be concessionaire.
Yeah, Fred Harvey, to remodel and restore the cabin for guest use. So it was a storage facility for a long time, but the Zenterra Travel Collection updated the cabin and is, again, historic, but now a cabin. So, like I said, there's not a whole lot, of the whimsical type stuff that we had for the Acadia Park, but...
I'm kind of surprised, like, I know that Teddy Roosevelt had some part in national parks. Like, but I guess he didn't have a hand in this one.
No. So,
But he was big into the conservation stuff.
but he did have some connection to it.
Yeah.
As
Well, that's what brought it to my mind. Is like I was a little surprised he wasn't involved in this, but maybe it was just it was already established, or just wasn't one of the ones he focused on.
right. So, not as whimsical, but some historical information. And I do like the Grand Canyon. I love the idea of the different stratas of rocks with the different ages. In fact, one of the cabins, if I remember correctly, the fireplace had the different stratas of rocks.
Now that's cool.
I think that's interesting.
I think what I picture is just like a big canyon, and that's it. And that doesn't seem interesting to me.
Well,
but
you got the rivers down there and all that. Oh, that's the other thing they have. That river road.
All I can think of is like big canyon, looking down the height. Not for me.
Well, they had the river boats. They get on the.
Oh, great! I can't swim either. Yep. Let's add all my fears to this tour.
Yep. So, okay.
Chances are not ever going to the Grand Canyon here.
Well, we're not going to go much anywhere with you right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. All right, we are.
We go anywhere, Beach Shenandoah, which is right here.
Right. We are opening up again. If you want to send things for charity, the pregnancy center always needs stuff, and I know they said what they needed, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. But they always take whatever baby goods you can have. You want to give whatever you want.
I'm sure they have needs right now, especially with...
They do. Well, they were also talking about some things that we don't normally do, like maternity clothes and things like that. So that's not something we necessarily focus on.
Right.
I mean, we'll take that, but we're talking more about the crafting.
Yeah.
So...
I'm not sure what much can be crafted for moms other than... I mean, I guess if some people do like the covers if they're breastfeeding, but...
Right. So... we are opening up to take things to the Front Royal Pregnancy Center again. As always, we do, we look forward to donations for Brittany, but they go right to Brittany. Okay, those, we don't send them to Brittany. She takes care of that. The Amelia Project, we want to go ahead and, again, kind of promote them. We haven't done a lot for BT Kimmy Kim.
No.
During the pandemic. So we want to make sure that she gets things as well.
I know I owe Brittany some dishcloths because they're just sitting on my dresser in a box.
Of course, Evan's home. I'm able now to get to Knitter's Magic. So if you want to send things there for more of a wide age group or more inclusive group of people in terms of from babies to adults, Evan's home will do that.
Yeah, because they take them until they're able to go out into the world as adults, and then they have another area, I guess, for the young adults.
I think that's what it is,
to help them kind of get integrated.
So they do a good deal. And then we have, of course, Operation Christmas Child, which you would go directly to, I don't know, Stephanie, who do we go to for that? Do we go to you? Hopefully she will get back to us.
And to take a step back to Evan's house, Evan's home, excuse me. If you're new to us, they are a local
yarn shop.
No, they aren't a local yarn shop. Evan House is not.
Oh, not there, but no.
They are connected to the local yarn shop. They are local. They provide support for kids who have been either abandoned or their parents can't take care of them anymore, and they choose to give them up there. They're kids without support, and they help them through the process of growing up, then eventually to finding a way to get into society themselves. It's just a really good, but they're not business. They're a
charity. Charity.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of between a charity. It helps. It just helps people to.
Yeah, because it's not like it's a bunch of social workers or anything. That's not the impression I get.
No.
I mean, I'm sure they have some of that in there, but
I'll have to ask Laura where I can find more information.
You can online. I looked into them when I was. Sometimes some of their kids would come up when I was working mental health, which makes sense if they've been abandoned or something.
Right.
So when I was working outpatient mental health, sometimes I would have to have conversations. I know that they must have a nurse on board.
Right.
I feel like they have at least 2 adults there at all times. I feel like that's what I recall, but it's been a long time since I've had anything to do with them on a professional level.
And when I mentioned Laura Gavis and Knitter's Magic, that's our local yarn shop. and she's fabulous. So, okay. And that's in Winchester. So if you're in the Winchester, Virginia area, and you want to check out a local yarn shop,
or if you're getting to the point you're traveling again and you're seeing Shenandoah Valley and this area, it might be something that you're interested in if you like to pick up yarn of areas that you're visiting, just as like sort of a keepsake.
And she does carry local yarn dyers, mine and one other person. So
because we are a tourist area, and a lot of people do like to do that.
Okay. So we'll move on from that to the Christmas All Year Long Cal Cal Lao 2021. Now, for those of you who are new to us, I generally read through this and then adjust what the rules are for the other alongs we have, because for our alongs, they're basically the same rules with some changes for that particular along. And we also have, usually we have maybe one along that we're doing with somebody else.
Right.
So that might be a little different as well. So this along runs January 1st of this past, this year, all the way through December 31st going into 2022. So January 1st, 2022 is when it ends. It ends around midnight. It will end, officially it ends midnight Eastern Standard Time, okay?
Whether or not it'll be closed by then, there'll be another matter.
Right. If it's not closed, because of whatever reason, you guys might get a few gratis hours, but, don't depend on that.
And if you're not Eastern Standard Time, you might lose a couple hours if your time is a little bit earlier than ours.
Right, because 3 of us, Talia, myself, and one of our other moderators, were East Coast. And we have one who's kind of central, I guess, in Texas. And we have one in the Netherlands. So, if you can take your chances, but if the Netherlands ones get it, you guys are going to lose some hours. So, yeah. So just keep an eye on that. We don't want you to lose any chances for prizes, okay? Now, projects must be knit, loom knit, or crocheted. Previous whips will be allowed, but must be worked on during the along. Chatter and pictures are all in the same thread. 1 whip per project per week, the FO, whenever it's completed. So even if you did the whip, say on a Monday or Tuesday, and you finished it on a Saturday, you can still post the FO at that time, okay? You don't have to wait. We do have prizes, and we will talk a little bit about that in a minute. Our featured patterns and featured yarns are nearly always the same, okay? My one pattern, which is Lady Fernico Creations, and my yarn, Lady Fernico Creations yarn, Talia's patterns, okay, so that's Franciscan Gypsy Designs patterns, and Laura Concert's yarns and patterns are all featured for our alongs, okay? They have to meet the other parameters in terms of color or brightness or whatever, but if you use one of those things, you have 2 chances at a prize for the finished object. If you use my yarn or Laura's yarn with one of the featured patterns for a finished object, you get 3 chances at a prize. But you have to make sure that you do your own multiple posting. Now, our old timers know this already, but for you newbies, that's what the way we do it, because we can't keep up otherwise. Yeah. So, I don't think we have anything. Oh, the colors. Okay, we do. Okay, hashtag PHN Christmas All Year Long 2021 on Instagram. If the FO uses 50 yards or less, please pair it with 1 or more objects that are 50 yards or more. So small objects like that, 1 or 2, 2 or 3 together, so you have a decent size there. Oh, okay, I did forget to mention Operation Christmas Child or Christmas donations and the Pregnancy Center. Those get multiple chances at a prize as well. Okay, 2 chances at a prize for the finished object. Same thing with the yarn and the featured pattern applies. Now, the Christmas colors are shades of red, shades of blue, shades of green, silver, gold, purple, and pink, along with white, okay? We wanted to make this a fun and doable along for everybody, and we do know that we have a few people who aren't celebrating Christmas.
Right.
So we want to make sure that they can have fun with this too, all right? Now, the prizes for this quarter, because we're doing quarterly prizes for this, we have pink cotton yarn with a little pink bag. That goes to 1 winner, okay? And these are both donated by Margaret, who is, oh, what's her handle? I'm sorry, Margaret. I drew a blank. I can't think of it right now. It'll come to me in the middle of something else. But she's very generous. She gave us almost all of our prizes for this year, I think. So she's, thank you very much. The other prize, the second prize for this quarter is Plymouth yarn, and that's 3 skeins, and it's a blue colorway. I don't know if the colorway is Galloway or if that's the base, but that's the yarn, okay? All right, now the autism awareness, we are in the last month of that, and the rules are basically the same, except that we add to the featured patterns the Braided Bright by George, who is 10 hours or less, and you can see him on, I believe he's on his own site and Ravelry. I don't know if he's on Etsy, and I don't know, they don't do it on Craftsy anymore. So
yeah,
so you have him there, and we also have the weighted lapgan and teddy bear, and that's by A Modest Creation, who used to be Miss World, and she's on Ravelry and she's on Etsy. Did you say?
Yeah, I think it was Etsy.
Etsy?
I saw her.
I think I saw her in Lovecraft as well, but you can find her in multiple places. And she actually, I think she developed that for us, as did George. So
I thought that she had already had that going.
I think she had half of it.
Okay.
I'm not sure, because I remember having a conversation with her. I might be mistaken. In any event, she always made sure it was available for us.
Yes, she reached out to us.
She reached out to us. So let me see here. This goes to the 30th of June. The hashtag is PHNAA2021, and we have a wonderful co-host, Laura Concert, who is Crocheting Hoovian from the Crocheting Hoovian podcast. And so let's see here. All the change for this one is, besides the featured patterns, is the fact that it has to be bright colored. So even if you're using my featured yarn or Laura's featured yarn or a featured pattern, it still has to be bright colored to be eligible, okay? And eligible both for consideration and for the multiple chance at a prize. Now, the prize donations for this you will see later in acquisitions, because we received a prize donation, and I didn't get a chance to, oh yes, I did write to her. We did get a surprise donation package, and so rather than rooting around,
so sweet.
Yes, very, very sweet. So instead of rooting around with all the donations I have that are kind of out of reach at the moment and busyness, I'm going to use her donation for the autism awareness. So you'll see that when we get to acquisitions, okay? Now the comfort, oh, and we also have a very generous donation, before I forget, from Looney Hiker, who is Pat. She's a very talented designer, and she's donated 1 pattern of the winner's choice from her patterns, okay? And she's on Lovecrafts, I believe, and Ravelry, okay? So that's where you can find her, and she's very generous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fiber Hermit. Margaret is Fiber Hermit. Okay.
Okay.
I knew it would come to me eventually. All right. Now the Comfort Along, this one goes on to the end of this month as well, and this is not our baby. We're providing the platform, and we support it 100%. This is run by Wombat of Doom, who is Patty, and Brittany, who is B-Wing, okay? Brittany runs the Comforting Crafts group.
Company what now?
Crafts group. And
Is that an F or a P?
I'm going to pop you one. Comforting Crafts group. If you don't stop, I'm going to make you do this.
I'm not awake.
Anyway, so she's the impetus behind all this, and she's very, very charity minded, okay? What they need for yes, reference. Okay, this runs from March 1st through midnight Eastern Standard Time, June 30th, 2021, okay? No previous whips will be allowed. Items eligible for the Comfort Along can be knitted, crocheted, or loom knit, okay? Specific items that they're concentrating on are hats and dishcloths and washcloths. Hat sizes can be from young adult through adult, and there's a greater need for boys' colors or gender neutrals. They ask you to please keep that in mind. Although, of course, you know, I'm sure they will accept female things as well, because if you do all males, and the females don't have any colors.
Right, exactly.
So, but they do ask for you to consider doing more of the neutral colors.
Well, because then they could go for either or.
Right, and then the boy colors. Whatever that
if you
is.
do blues, especially certain kind of blues, could be really pretty on somebody, but still be, you know, really cool for a guy.
Yes, there are colors that are gender neutral, even though they're bright.
Well, blues kind of become a gender neutral.
Yeah, blue, purple,
You see, I wouldn't call purple gender neutral. I always think purple more feminine.
I have seen people wear purple that you wouldn't expect.
For some reason, I always think of purple.
I think it has to be maybe it has to be a darker purple.
Yeah, I can't think of any guys I've seen who wear purple.
Anyway,
other than like Hawkeye, but he also has pink in his outfits. Hawkeye.
Okay, and
maybe it's not pink; it's like a lavender.
They suggest fits the whole fam as a possible hat pattern to use because apparently it's very stretchy and fits multiple sizes. Chatter and pictures are all on the same thread, 1 WIP per project per week in the FO whenever it's completed. And if you are in the Comforting Crafts Facebook group, please feel free to post your pictures there. The prizes will be randomly generated through our thread in our group, okay? Not on the Facebook page, okay? So we will do it by random number generator, and we will send the prize winners' names to Patty and Brittany, and they'll take care of it for the most part. Right now, the prizes are, let's see, 2 skeins of Dishy yarn, dishcloth pattern booklets, handmade greeting cards by Beamu, which are fabulous. There's a skein of my yarn, and there's one of Talia's wonderful little Tortoise versus Hare pattern books
with a limited edition bookmark.
Well, yes, so that'll be another prize, and we will send those 2 out from here. But Patty and Brittany will take care of the others. So, and you contact Brittany for your donation information because we don't want to post her address all over the place.
Indeed.
Okay, so that takes care of that.
And you can reach Brittany on either her Facebook Comforting Crafts or on the PHN home. Okay, so I have, I think I said 9.
I have 7.
Yeah. So I'll go twice for 1.
My crochet, chronically crocheting mug. Thank you, Crystal. Crystal, I know I owe you a message. I will get to you as soon as I can.
Let me go ahead and open my show notes. I'm not sure why I'm quite so tired.
Why what?
I'm so tired.
You want, can't turn off any of the lights.
No, I think it's, maybe there's weather coming or something, but I was struggling to stay awake during the last part. Now that we're talking projects, I'll be fine. Okay.
Instead of boring her.
Well, it's just that because it's sitting and sometimes the fatigue, it's just like
And we can talk a little bit about that during the end. Indie bits, as they call it, over Baker Bears.
So, the first, I thought you're right, Baker Bears did Indie bits. I feel that the Stalking the Zombies had a different thing. Although they
didn't do something for the ending things. They just did the Administrati.
Okay, I thought Administrati was toward the end. Okay. I can't remember. It's been too long. In my Silver Shade USA Peanuts Christmas bag is Davina's Christmas stocking. So, slowly but surely making progress. This is the only design I'm working on right now.
Right.
Because I have sweater fever. And also, fatigue's been so bad this year that I can't really focus to do much in the way of designs.
Right.
And plus the rosary stuff. Okay, one other. So the next one, according to my notes, would be, because I try and do it in order so I don't miss anything. Okay. In my Knitter's Magic lovely pink and brown soft bag. It's soft. Without being like, the other one is soft because it's the fabric is almost, it's not fuzzy, but it feels like it's fuzzy. This is soft just because the fabric is like very pliable and it's just, it's a different kind of soft. It's kind of soft.
That feels almost like a brushed cotton.
Right. It feels kind of soft that you want on your clothes. Apparently I'm supposed to be wearing all cotton. According to my doctor, I don't know how that's going to work because that requires a wardrobe change.
Well, we'll do what we can to do that, But then you can't wear your sweaters and stuff.
Well, he means like to the skin, like shirts and stuff.
Right.
Because I guess polyester isn't as good for whatever reason.
Well, it doesn't. First of all, it's not natural. Secondly, it doesn't. I don't think wick off the heat and the moisture as well.
I don't think I own anything cotton. But yeah,
I think this is cotton.
Is it cotton? I'm not sure. I'll have to take a look at my labels.
I think you have more cotton than you think.
Maybe.
I mean, there might be cotton mixtures, cotton blends.
Right.
T-shirts tend to be cotton.
Huh?
T-shirts tend to be cotton.
I don't wear a lot of them because the neckline is... I have a feeling my dance clothes are probably polyester.
Probably.
Not dance coats, dance skins. Dance
I know
goes
what you
are
meant.
nursing shoes.
I know what you meant.
Okay, so this is Joanna Johnson's, well, my project is Canary Song. The pattern is Comfort Yourself with Your Music. And this is from Little Women Knits by Joanna Johnson. And remember, this is a side-to-side sweater, so it might look weird that I just have a hole in the middle. But it's supposed to be like this.
It's for her head.
And it's a blanket sweater, so that's why it's...
I want one of those. I have to get started on one of those.
What's going to happen is I'm going to need one of these for her, too.
Probably. She doesn't have to buy the yarn for it. I have
Nope,
it.
nope. Well, I commission you for stuff, too, so...
Yeah.
Not as often, but I do. Yeah. And I am in a sweater phase, so it's not a hardship. I'm actually really happy to be back in a sweater phase. I really enjoy knitting sweaters.
I'm having a hard time finding what my comfort craft is right now. Comfort project is.
Well, what I'm finding with sweaters is it has the long period of doing one thing that I need with the brain fog, but it can either have something of interest, like a little bit of lace or a little bit of cables if I'm having a really good day.
Right.
Or if it's a plain sweater, it will have at some point some sort of shaping to keep me from getting too bored. Like where a blanket, I might lose interest because it's too much of the same thing.
Right.
With a sweater, there's always a chance, there's another part I move on to at some point, even if there is a long section of doing the same thing that I need with the brain fog.
Right.
So the sweater's kind of the perfect brain fog project.
I used to think I guess the Surabel comes closest.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think you like accessories.
Might be. I would have said, a little while ago that toys, but I haven't wanted to do toys.
Well, it requires sewing.
Yeah.
And what I'm finding with toys right now is it requires more focus because there's a lot of decreases and increases a lot of times. So I don't have that period of long doing the same thing. The closest one that comes to that is Cyrano.
Right.
Right. Because I have sections of just doing the same. But most toys that I have, or that I've seen, don't tend to have it. Also, I don't tend to do log crochet when I'm brain fog because I will miss my stitch and get off count or whatever. Yeah. I've been finding more and more that I get off count when I crochet. So...
And I have to be careful because my hands don't always like it when I do a lot of crochet.
Right.
So
I can't do crochet in the dark either.
Yeah.
Whereas I can knit in the dark. I can knit with my eyes closed.
I can almost do this without looking at it. I just have to know
where
I'm at.
That's so odd to me. And I know that one of our other ladies, I think it was Kara, who said that she can crochet without looking. Which, hats off to you. That's not me.
No, I don't think I could do it in absolute dark necessarily. But, I just kind of... I can do this and then I start looking at the TV or whatever.
Right.
I also have a degree of comfort with this that I know that if I mess up, I can just fix it.
Right.
So let me just show you this.
It is your turn.
Show you this project. Okay, this is the Spoiled Bunny Stomp Scarf from the Surabel Scarf Pattern by Sarah Sweethearts. And you guys are just going to get garbled speech from me today because I don't know why. I'm tired or something. So
I want to show what weather's coming in, but maybe we have weather.
Spoiled Bunny Stomp Scarf from the Surabel Scarf Pattern by Sarah Sweethearts. No, this is not my pattern. This is her pattern. And it's a lovely pattern that I really love.
It's a lovely pattern which you really love?
Yes.
Well, they don't seem to be calling for any weather, but that doesn't mean there's not barometric pressure.
Yeah. So I'm using an eye hook and Test Designer yarns, and I don't know what color this is because it wasn't on the ball band. But you guys can see I made some progress on this. I want to incorporate this in a blanket pattern I have in my head. Mm-hmm. So I have to think about how to do that. So this is, and the construction is weird for it.
The barometric pressure is in the area of where you're kind of looking at it being weathery. So
right.
if my app is right.
So the construction would be strange, but I have an idea and it's all Kay's fault.
Oh, okay.
So this is fun.
What was your idea?
I'm not going to repeat it.
Oh, okay. I was trying to find barometric pressure for you.
I just said that I was going to do a blanket pattern.
Oh, okay. That's all I missed. Because I was looking at barometric pressure.
Yeah, I didn't say anything that I didn't think you had heard.
Yeah. No, I hadn't heard that. Because I was focused on finding the app for barometric pressure.
And I want to play around with the construction because I don't necessarily want this huge chain.
Yeah. So, unless you do a... foundation single crochet.
I don't like that. it twists on me every blessed
You
time.
see, I think the chain is awful.
I don't like
I don't like that.
I don't like the foundation. And maybe I just need to try it again, but I've done it a couple times. I don't
found
like
a couple of really good tutorials for it. I was always grateful to Shannon for introducing me to the foundation single crochet.
Shannon is from Shibit's Guys.
Yeah.
And they
Now, I don't know if they had a tutorial. I think I found one on my own.
Right.
But
well, he and George is also very helpful with that kind of stuff.
yes. But I hadn't heard of the foundation single crochet until I did one of Shannon's.
I think that's why I did my first
I felt
one.
so bad that I never finished that project. But
Well, we were kind of having difficulty. We had to pull out.
I was starting with the really bad fatigue.
We had to pull out of that particular one. But we had a very good relationship with Shibit's Guys for a little while there. But then we felt so bad that we just wouldn't do anymore. And I think they kind of got a little gun shy too.
Yeah, well,
and
I mean,
understandably,
he was out some yarn. I felt bad about
yeah,
that.
I wanted to return the yarn. But
I'm still working through that yarn.
he wouldn't let us return the yarn, which I thought was very, very nice of him. If you want to look at some very nice patterns, Shibit's Guys are very good.
Didn't he get back to you right away when you had a question about his pattern too?
Yeah, he was very good. Shannon and I before Craftsy did all its stuff, and I left. I made sure I had Shannon's classes because I really think he's a talented designer and a talented teacher. So but anyway, I don't like to go back to that. I don't like the foundation single crochet necessarily. I also don't like going around the chain.
Right.
So
I've done several. I need to finish my bunny slippers where I go around the chain. I'm
I
close to finishing
can
them.
do it. I can do it. I just don't like to do it. The foundation single crochet I have more difficulty with, and I feel like it twists a lot.
I think once you get used to it, it'll be fine. It'll be a lot easier than chaining and trying to make sure you get each and every little blessed chain.
I want to see if this construction I have in my head will actually play out the way I think it will, or if it's going to be too difficult. If it'll be more fiddly than it needs to be. So anyway, that's that. I'm waffling. Go ahead, Talia. And thank you, Stephanie, for saying my waffling was okay.
Oh, talking about waffles. I found a gluten-free, dairy-free waffle. It's Eggo-like. It was blueberry. Apparently they have another kind as well, but blueberry is the one I have. So, yay. I can have, Eggo-y waffles in the morning. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt her when she's talking. We now have a title for the podcast.
Yes, and I'm just pulling up my show notes again to see what's next. Next for me.
You have two again this time, right?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Lake of Shining Waters. So, in my... I like to pull a story. Silver Shed USA, Kitty's in the news bag.
And she got married.
Oh, did she?
Ann Brody. Ann Brody's name. We're going to continue to call her Ann Brody because
I don't know if she'll change on the business.
She has.
Has she?
But the problem is, I'm not sure people will know who we're talking about.
Right.
So I have to write down.
We can even do like Brody blah.
Right.
Whatever.
I might until they recognize it more.
Yeah.
I have to go and write it down. I think her last name now is Gardner.
Okay, because we want to make sure that we if she changed it on her business, obviously, that, she's not just keep... Because some people will keep their business the same.
Right. No, she had...
but since she's actually changed on her business...
Because otherwise I wouldn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure I said something like that. She's a little sparse in there right now because I guess she's just starting to restock.
She just got married.
Gosh. She has a beautiful bag there. I want it. It's...
I don't look there anymore because it's bad.
It's a beautiful bag. I want it. I'll use it for a purse. I love it. I want it.
Okay, so let's see. I'm trying. I'll probably end up repeating news every once in a while.
Yep. Just don't do it in succession.
Yeah, exactly.
The lady who bought my yarn asked about it because I mentioned her shop.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll try this one. I actually don't think I've done this one yet. Oil prices surge, but Sal's short hair cashes in. And here's
Sal's short hair?
There's Sal's short hair. Give you a massage.
Oh, must be a mafioso.
Prices at the pumps reached an all-time high today, but no one is suffering who purchased an electric racer from Flying Feline and Company. The fast-moving compact is a new favorite among all breeds when it comes to travel these days. Sal, shown left at a massage, just got ASPCA approval on his newest venture, the Curiosity 707, an economic electric jet plane that promises not to kill the cat. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Funny.
That is a new story. I haven't read that one yet.
It is a new story?
Yes, it is. I knew there had to be gems in here that I hadn't found yet. Okay, so this is another pattern by Joanna Johnson. This is Lake of Shining Waters.
That looks pretty.
And the pattern name is Ann Sweater, and it's from the Green Gables Knits book by Joanna Johnson. I just tried to exit my show notes for some reason. There we go. And this has made progress. It curls, so it's hard to see how much progress gets
really
made.
Good tie. Looks like you made a fair amount of progress.
Yeah, it gets, it definitely gets a fair amount of progress. I mean, I still have quite a bit to go, I think, because I remember this being a fairly long sweater. But I think there's a fairly long ribbing at the bottom. So I'm not sure when I switch over to that. I'm about to finish the decrease sections to head back into the increase, so I should be looking at ribbing pretty soon.
Right.
I think it's quite a long ribbing, if I remember correctly. So,
I still wish I had tried that one that you said maybe I should wait on because it's all ribbed.
Oh, the only reason I said you should wait on is because the construction was a little funky.
Right.
And
I know you didn't think I was quite ready for it, and I would agree.
Because I was looking at it, and I remember I found it a little confusing the way that it was constructed.
Well, you tore it out.
Well, I tore it out because I got bored.
Right.
No, that wasn't completely fair. I tore it out because I can't rib in the dark.
Right.
And it was all rib. And I just was like, yeah, I'm not going to finish this.
Right. It's a beautiful sweater.
Oh, it's a beautiful sweater. And if I ever thought that I would finish it, I would totally knit it. But, yeah, I was looking at it. It was more complex than I thought it was. What we might have to do is find a rib sweater that's not quite that complex for you.
Right.
Or you utilize slave labor and have your daughter make it for you.
Slave labor?
Slave
labor. You never have to pay for the yarn, though. So
no, I don't.
Just time, which is of a premium for you. But let me just get this hooked in so I don't lose it.
Well, while you're doing that, I have a something that just arrived. It's a what's it called? A stash enhancement. My litany book arrived.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to grab it from.
Wait, you're going to leave? Okay.
Because you're doing a project.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
just let me finish this stitch, and I'll start on my next project.
That'll give me a chance to grab that. I think that neither of us turned on our lights either. So
I think I did.
You did yours. Well, I'll turn on mine while I'm getting mine.
Okay.
I've got mine.
Okay, my next one, while she's getting her stash enhancement, is I didn't work on this last week for whatever reason. I think I just got too busy. But this week, I did. And this is it's my Welcome Little One project from the On the Porch Blanket knitting pattern by 5410 Studios. As I told you last week, I think it was, or the week before, that Talia had tinked back. She just picked up stitches and tinked all the way back to a point where I could no longer live with the mistake. It didn't look right. So she did that, and I am now started knitting on it again. This is a Knitter's Magic bag for the person who provides her the bags. It's really soft, and I think I'm in the middle of a row. It looks like, yes, I'm in the middle of the row. But you can see I made a bit of progress on this. I like working on this. This is my meditative knitting. It's a very simple pattern, as long as I know where I'm at. You can see here, this is, I don't want to go into too much detail. You can tell it's garter stitch and stockinette, but it's a paid for pattern, so I don't want to go too much into it. But isn't that pretty, the pattern? I love this. I'm using Lady Furnico Creations Bulky in my Bare Necessities colorway, because I thought maybe this would be a nice kind of simple heirloomy kind of blanket. Yeah, I really like this. So I will do more work on this.
It's a fairly simple project for you to work on.
It is. It is definitely a simple project for me to work on, and I enjoy it.
I put what mail there was on Dad's side.
Oh, the mail actually came?
Yeah, because this was in the mailbox. I forgot this was coming by USPS.
Oh, okay.
But while I was out getting the letter, I figured I'd get the one that, say the reason why I had to get the other one, I might as well grab the one I had before.
Right.
There you go. Alrighty.
So I take it no packages came or anything?
Well, other than that one.
Yeah.
Be one of the few times that we actually have stash enhancements show that arrived right away. Right. I don't know if you have anything else coming as a stash enhancement.
Well, I know that the package was sent, but it might not arrive. It's too early for it to arrive.
Okay. So, now one of mine. Okay. Next for me is, oh, okay, this is in my, not this bag, this bag. Here, my mouth, there we go. In my Silver Shred USA bat signal bag is my Puget Sound project. The pattern is the Fundamental Men's Pullover, knitting it for Dad, using Cascade 220 worsted in the colorway Puget Sound.
Yeah, it's a good thing he doesn't watch all the way through. Sometimes he'll watch this, but I'm not sure how far he gets into it. And with all the waffling we were doing today, he probably wouldn't get through it.
Right. So, this is a little tingly on my ends. There we go. So it's all curling on itself, but here is the back with the little shoulder strap thing where it'll be seamed.
Right.
So there's the back all done.
Oh wow, that's good.
And then I started the front.
Excellent.
So I'll be knitting on this for a while. This is a nice mindless project.
This would be a nice weight for him to wear because he's always cold in his office.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, that'll be good. And it's not. And we did the measurement off of a sweater that he always wears.
yeah, I think I pulled it out of his closet.
We did. We walked out there when he was doing something else.
Yep. We're tricksy.
Because it would be too suspicious if we tried to measure him.
Mm-hmm. You really should measure him and get his measurements. Although, you know, he's lost some weight, so.
Right. And as long as he's still comfortably wearing this sweater.
Oh yeah, he's still comfortably wearing the other sweater, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's not going to wear that close to his skin. He'll probably wear it over something.
Right.
Most likely. I mean, he could wear it close to his skin.
But usually he doesn't. That kind of thing. So, that's a good, fun knit. And if I looks like I have much more yarn than I need for that, and we were talking about me making a cardigan for Mom out of the same. Initially we said the same pullover, but he won't do that because it's matchy-matchy, and he'll never wear it.
He's like matchy-matchy.
But if I do the cardigan, it matches, but it's not exactly the same.
Right, right. And I can kind of sneak it.
Right.
You know, we go on a trip or something, and I pull that sweater out.
Right, exactly.
So, let's see here.
It won't be quite as noticeable because it's not the same exact pattern.
Right.
What, did you mess up?
Nope.
Did you pull back?
Well, I can do that. It's not a big deal.
And it is your turn.
Okay, let me just pull back first. All right, now I can pull back afterward. Let me just mark where I have to pull back to, so I know what I'm doing. Let's see. Just give me a second. Right here. Okay. All right. My next one is, find it my show notes. Oh yeah, I did work on this a little bit. This is my Comfy Cozy Shawl project from the Scrap Shawl pattern by Anastasia Zattel. Now, I was very crochet heavy this time around. I had to do some, pick up some projects yesterday to get more knitting projects in. So this is my Comfy Cozy Shawl pattern project from the Scrap Shawl pattern by Anastasia Zattel, and this is Miss Babs Yowza. It's in the, I don't know what the colorway is. In my Ploverbird pink and purple teacups bag, okay? And I started this back in October. I should be further along than I am. But I have Project ADD or something. So I did make some progress. It's moving along.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So I'm really, I mean, this, you could tell it's a shawl already. I mean, it doesn't take long for this one to look like what it's going to be.
Right.
And I love the way it falls because the way Anastasia has the spines on this, there's
well, it's really nice as what I call blanket shawl.
Yeah, it's got 3 spines, so it stays really well on your shoulders.
Because I think we were talking on the Zoom about the blanket shawls, the big shawls, kind of like being a kid carrying their blankie with them.
Yeah, yeah. So I really like this.
It's the socially acceptable way to carry a blanket with you at all times.
This is mine. This one's mine. It's got Miss Babs, and I think it has, let me see what else. I think it has maybe some, I guess this is all Miss Babs in this one. Various shades of blues and greens, teals, that kind of stuff. So, is this my hook for this? I don't know if this is my hook for this. No, this is my hook for this, I think. Yeah, this is my hook for that. Okay. So
Yeah, you really need to make sure you put your hooks away.
well, this one's in here.
Yeah, we might put away the other one because you said you have a lot of crochet.
Well, I'm not finished with that though.
Oh, okay.
This is what I'm using here. This is supposed to be an eye hook.
Yeah, but you might have gone with a slightly different hook. It is an eye hook.
Okay. Okay, so that's
I
this one.
realized you went with the same weight as me. Huh.
I think that's what I had available,
Mm-hmm.
and it isn't heavy.
I wonder why. Because mine's fairly heavy.
I don't know. I might have used a different hook for the one you have,
Mm-hmm.
the one I finished.
Yeah.
But I think it said eye because I checked it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that takes care of that.
Huh. I wonder why it maybe because you made it so big it already feels heavy. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's odd. So next for me is in my. Well, this was I actually used this for a purse for a long time until I moved over to the wheelchair bag. So this is my red version of this really nice canvasy bag.
Yeah, that came from China, I think it was.
Yeah, I forget. I wish we still knew the name of the shop, but he doesn't put anything on his bag.
Right.
I have his shop saved. I just don't remember.
Yeah,
the
I do
name.
too. I don't remember the name is though.
But this is my project called the Embers cardigan. The pattern is a calligraphy cardigan, and it's by Hannah Fettig.
Mhm.
Yeah. And just keep rolling, rolling, rolling. There's a lot of ribbing on this. So this is the collar.
Oh, it looks nice.
So I
be
am
pretty.
very happy with.
That's gonna be pretty.
I'm glad I took out the shawl that was in because I was never wearing the shawl, and this is actually I think it'll be a really nice sweater.
I may borrow it from her.
Because it's
pretty.
got the reds and the browns and the oranges, which actually, and there's a little bit of like yellowish in there, so it's actually a versatile sweater without being garish. Because
It worked up really well.
It did. I was kind of surprised because you look at the scan, you wouldn't think that, oh, I'll put that in a sweater, but it really works.
Well, it's variegated without really looking variegated. I don't know if
Right.
that makes sense.
Right. I don't know. It just works really well. It almost looks like light hitting it certain ways. If you.
Well, it looks kind of like a flame,
Yeah.
and I would actually borrow that from her if I had the right outfit.
Yeah,
because
so-
I would wear that. It's not beyond my realm of possibility to
And
wear.
because the yarn has a little bit of interest in this, I can. It's going to be a good sweater to work on because once I get past this ribbing part, I believe it's a fairly plain sweater after that.
Yeah, because otherwise it wouldn't work with the color.
Yeah. Because I had planned it for black. Yeah,
It's really plain.
so the little bit of interest in the color and then the yarn itself will keep this pattern interesting.
Right. The interest is the pattern's a nice pattern, but the interest in working it comes from the
Yes.
yarn.
But it's going to be one of those nice serviceable, I can wear it anywhere type sweaters because it doesn't have a whole lot going on. It's just comfortable.
And we are all about comfortable.
Well, if you're going to have sweaters,
We're not Davina. Fashion or die. She's funny. Her feet might be hurting, but the shoes are fashionable.
which is why the adults in the room make the decision.
Right. We had to stop her from wearing certain shoes because she couldn't walk on them. And she wasn't going to do anything about them, so we had to tell her she couldn't wear the shoes anymore because she had to be fashionable. Must be fashionable. So we tease her about that.
Yeah.
She gets annoyed with us, but she deals with it.
It's your turn.
All right, let me just finish the stitch. I'm almost to where I was before. That's what I like about the Cerebel. I just pull it out and fix it. And
Well, that's anything crochet for you.
okay, now. Oh, my next one. Last week I pulled out the preemie hat. I was working on this little Cindy Wood loom.
So it was cotton, right?
It was cotton and it didn't have enough give. So I started this one. And I'm calling it the Rainbow Preemie Hat Project. So I haven't gotten very far on it. I just started it. And yeah, so that's, I forget, this is a Hobby Lobby yarn. I don't know what the colorway is because I don't have the ball band anymore. I think I have another skein up there if I wanted to go check, but I'm too lazy to get up and do it. So this is my Kickapoo Owls Holiday Owls bag, which I use all year round. It's my preemie hat bag.
But I have a couple Christmas bags I use all year round. The only reason why you haven't seen Brittany's ornament bag is because I haven't been working on ornaments. But
If I need a bag, it gets used. Doesn't matter what the season is.
But I do have definite bags. I don't have a lot of them. They're definitely for certain projects, but I have a couple that are. My Christmas bags are meant for certain projects.
Right. Well, I have, you haven't seen my llama bag in a while because that's where I usually put those little squares.
Well, this has been my, oh, not this one. You'll see it a little bit later. I have one bag that's been the Dobbinwood bag. Now, once Mom's Dobbinwood's done, it's going to go into shock or something because it won't be filled with Dobbinwood. But it's been, for over a year, it's been filled with Dobbinwood of some sort or another. Okay, so actually, since you just showed something, it is the Dobbinwood's turn. So
Yay! My Dobbinwood.
Or
is it yours? No, you don't have it.
I don't have them because it was close in color to the thing.
I remember.
To the big shawl you made me. I'm like, I'm not gonna wear it. If I have a choice in that color, I'm gonna wear your thing instead of the Dobbinwood. So what's the point?
Right.
In my Plover Bird TARDIS Bigger on the Inside bag. This is the Dobbinwood. I'm calling it Inkheart. And this is a pattern, the Dobbinwood was a pattern by K.F. Jones, Baker Bears fame. Using all Miss Babs. Yowza.
Love the way that's turning out. It's totally my colors.
And this got a little bit of work. Sorry, it's getting tangled. There we go. And you can just see, it's very different even from mine, which mine is over here. That is wrong side.
Yep.
So,
and we have, one color in common.
Yeah, we have one color in common, but she's not using it as a main color the way I am. Her main color is this darker one. Which is the Inkwell. The zing for her is like my black here, and my white is this light blue for her. So hers is much more in the way of blues. So even if we were to wear them at the same time, no one would think it was the exact same. We wouldn't mistake each other's for one another's, which is part of why you didn't go with the zing as the main color. Even though you probably could have. You probably had enough zing to do so.
Right. Yeah, I have more zing in my stash.
Yeah, but I think you were like, well, I don't want it to be exactly matching.
Right.
And I think it's going to be very nice with the dark blue and all the different blues. You'll be able to wear it with a bunch of different things.
And blue is one of those colors that, because thanks to blue jeans, I think, that you can wear with almost anything.
Exactly, yeah.
You just, yellows and reds and, greens.
I think you have certain kinds of greens that you can be wearing with most anything.
Maybe. You can't wear green with red. You look like a Christmas.
People think of Christmas.
Okay, let me just...
Yeah, because it's your turn. I'm just scrolling my notes to where I need to be next.
Okay. My next one... Put this in here. In you go. I don't know if I mentioned this bag. It's another Plover Bird Mickey Mouse bag. Okay. Now, my next one is... Oh, speaking of K.F. Jones...
Bakery Bears fame.
Bakery Bears fame. This is in my Mama C Large Owl bag, which I absolutely love. And this is the bag end wrap from the Burrow Wrap pattern by K.F. Jones of Bakery Bears fame. And I'm using mostly Dragonfly fibers in this. So I did a little bit of work. I'm in the middle of a row for this. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the pattern, it looks like this. I'm not sure if I'm going to put the fringe on it or not. I'm not a big fringe person.
Yeah, I know I hadn't made up my mind either when I had started it, and then I didn't end up finishing it.
You can see better on her here. I've never been a fringe person, so we'll see.
Of course, the fringe might not be quite as important because she had two fingerings held together, so she would have had a lot more yarn at the ends, and you're going to have with only one DK.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, this colorway, I'm making progress, but I still have a bit of a way to go, simply because I haven't been working on it a lot. It's not even the fact that it's, it's a DK yarn, so it's not a small yarn, it's not a large yarn.
Right now it's kind of dark. Well, the thing is, it's not even a hard thing to work.
No, I just...
you have things you want.
I really am bouncing around from thing to thing. Also, I haven't been doing a lot of knitting while we watch television.
Right.
Because generally we're doing other things while we watch television. So I'm going to try to pull my light here and pull it out and maybe start doing some of the simpler stuff while we're watching a show.
Right.
We don't watch, and by television I mean a video. We don't watch TV, but maybe then I'll pick up some more progress on this because I'm looking forward to changing colors on it.
Right, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it's my turn. What's the wrong thing? My show notes are here. In my Knitter's Magic nice soft brown bag is the Hillcrest. I call it the Quicksilver sweater, but it's a Hillcrest coat by Amy Miller.
You need to keep your voice down.
Oh, she's not out there.
Oh, she's not?
It's for Davina.
Yeah.
So when I walked by with the mail, to get the mail, she wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
And if she didn't come running when I got the mail, she's pretty settled
Yeah,
what she's doing. Because
she's probably doing her chaplets.
Yeah, because obviously she didn't even hear the alarm.
Right.
Okay, so this actually got quite a bit of progress to the point where I'm like, can I justify making myself one of these at some point? Because I
nice
like
sweater.
the idea of a nice bulky sweater like this.
That is a bulky, right?
It's bulky.
Yeah.
And it's Knit Picks bulky, and it's a super nice bulky. This is not Brava. I didn't enjoy the Brava bulky.
No, I didn't either.
Now, granted, I've gotten to the point where I'm more sensitive to the acrylic, where I don't like the way it feels.
But you know, even before, you had said stuff like that, I didn't care for the bulky of that. I do like Brava normally, but not necessarily the bulky.
And I think I don't use a lot of acrylic because I don't like how it feels.
Yeah.
Certain acrylics I can use more than others. If they feel more like wool, I can use them. But my body's just weird about it. So you can see how it's working up in the back.
Well, that's pretty.
I always forget how small she is.
Yeah.
And there's the zipper.
Making a lot of progress on that.
Oh yeah. Well, I really enjoy working on this. Plus, it's bulky, so it works up quickly.
Who's the designer?
The designer is Amy Miller. And it must have been one of those things where I was searching for sweaters randomly, or someone could have given this to me because especially during the period of time where I was knitting.
Oh, you already had it.
Oh yeah, I didn't purchase this.
Okay.
This was, I went through my old patterns. Is what I did. That's the same thing when I found 2 other sweaters I have going. I went through what I already had because I wasn't going to go and pick up a new pattern.
Right.
Especially like for this, I wanted to make sure, since I already had to purchase the yarn for this,
Right.
I didn't want to purchase the pattern as well. And so the pattern, it's a nice long coat thing. Because what she likes about my Vivian, and she brings this up every time I wear it, the Vivian's by Yossel Teague, and what she brings up that she likes about the Vivian is how it's form-fitting. Now, this is a little more bulky, so it's not quite as form-fitting, but it does have a fit to it. So,
And she liked the cables.
yeah.
But the cables, the one she liked the cables, was that the other one, the red one?
No, it's, again, the Vivian.
Vivian also?
Yeah, the Vivian, the green one.
Yeah.
Because every time I put on the green one, she loves it. No, the red one that I have only has little sparse cables. I'd need to...
You haven't worn that in a way, so...
I don't wear it a ton because it's acrylic.
Right.
And when I wear it, I kind of feel I overheat easily in it.
Right.
I do wear it, but I don't wear it often because the acrylic doesn't seem to really keep me do the warm but breathable thing.
Right.
The same thing with my orange one.
Right.
It's my orange one with
Right.
lace owl on the back.
Right.
It comes from the Harry Potter.
That's a pretty sweater.
Now, if you ever want me to knit that one for you,
yeah, that one...
in a wool.
That one will that one will eventually have to go on my list of what I would like you to do. If I don't see myself knitting a lot of sweaters.
It's a perfect excuse for me.
Because it's owls.
Yeah,
It's pretty.
and I have that magazine somewhere. Because that's what it came from. It came from the magazine.
Unofficial Harry Potter
Yeah, it was
knits.
unofficial Harry Potter knits.
Yeah.
And I didn't get rid of it because I enjoyed... there was a couple patterns I liked in it.
Well, I think you can't get it anymore.
Right, exactly. Which is why it's one of those things you just don't get rid of it. Something that has nice patterns. So there you go. I'm headed back. So I did my decreases. I'm headed back into the increases for the hips. So quite a bit of progress. And I have to keep in mind that what might seem short to me is right for her because she is smaller.
She's only 5'1".
Yeah.
So
But I still have a way to go after because it goes down below the, below the hips, like past the rear end. So it's going to still have a way to go.
And you have inches for that, don't you?
Well, it tells me inches for certain points. It'll say rows, and then if I'm doing the same thing for a while, it'll say do repeat in pattern with the chart for, so many inches.
Yeah. And you have her measurements too.
Yeah, I do. I'll probably just go with the patterns. It's honestly a little bit longer. It's not going to be a problem.
No, I know that. What I'm saying is you wouldn't go any shorter than her measurements.
Oh, no. There's no way this is shorter than her measurements. She doesn't have that long of a torso. Whereas I have, I don't think I have a terribly long torso. It's my legs that are long. And I think you're about evened out. I don't think you have a long torso or long legs. Okay.
Okay, let's see here. Okay. Let's see, where am I at? Okay, my next one is the Mad Hatter Cowl project from the Cerebell pattern by Sarah Sweethearts, because apparently one is not enough. And I'm using Miss Babs Yowza in the Mad Hatter colorway and a J hook. And this is in my Silver Shed USA Green Star Wars bat. Okay. And this, I didn't do a whole lot of work on this. I think I only worked on this during the podcast. Maybe a little bit during the week. But it's grown a little bit. Where is it? Here we go. There's the top. I really like the way this is one of those skeins I had no idea what I was going to do with it.
Right. And I'm glad I'm always grateful you talked me out of doing a hood out of it.
But I think it's going to be really nice.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice. And like you said, it'd be really nice if you're wearing a black coat. Or dark colors of any kind.
The way this is turning out, I might actually keep it. And like I said,
which is great, because I would have had no idea what I was going to do with that yarn.
Use it with black, or use it with...
I was like, you need to wear your special socks with that match.
Yes, I have to match. So, yeah, it's fun. And if I decide it's too bright for me for whatever reason, then it can go to charity.
But I think it'll look really good with the black coat, because it's not colors you can't wear.
No, these are right. These are jewel tones. Jewel tones. Even the pinks are jewel tones.
It's just that they're all together the way that they are. You really have to find the right thing to make it in.
Yeah. So this is really nice in mitts, in socks, in
accessories.
Accessories, yeah.
For some reason, it was too much for the hood.
And I don't think it would be good for a shawl.
Right.
Except for maybe if you've got whatever colors, like maybe black, and then you have a pink pop.
I think what it's good for is when you're knowing you're going to be, like if you're wearing it with a coat, because most coats don't tend to be too crazy.
Right.
So.
Well, I just saw something that would be really pretty is a black shawl with stripes of this, like accent stripes, which it would really pop out that way. But, yeah, so that's this. And
so next is me. And in my Plover Bird multiple tie-dye, bigger on the inside bag, this is my Lothlorien hood. This is the Thorin's Cowl pattern. And it's a free pattern. If you look up the Thorin's Cowl knit pattern, you will find it online. It's like Tolkien dot something or other. But it shows a bunch of free Tolkien related patterns.
I'm gonna have to go there, take a look.
So this one's made some progress. I worked on this at the doctor's office
yesterday.
And so it's made a little progress. It's growing slowly but surely. I think that after I had speed knits 2 in a row, even though I did a different version than both of the other ones, I just needed to take a little break on this pattern, so that's why this one's moving much slower.
Right.
Although I do need to make progress on it because I only have a red one right now. And the one that I don't really wear outside the house, because A, I seamed it on the wrong side, and B, the colors really don't go. Like, it's just not something I wear out. I use it to block light in my bed if the red one doesn't match my clothes.
Davina really uses hers.
Yes, she really likes her pink one. I'm so glad. But she actually asked for that, so it would have been surprising if she didn't like it.
Right.
Well,
sometimes she asks for things and turns out she doesn't really care for it.
Right.
I remember how many permutations I had to go through with Drama Queen 7 to get that colorway the way she wanted it.
Well, that was a matter of getting the right color, exactly how she visualized it. But she knew what the finished object looked like already, and she picked the yarn. So I would have been very surprised if she didn't like the finished object, since she already had chosen both things.
I was really happy she chose my yarn.
Yeah. Yeah, she was given all those choices, and that was the one she went with. And the more I looked at it, the more pink it looked. And honestly, she'll wear it much more in that color than I will, because I don't really wear pink.
Neither one of us do. In fact, she got almost offended. She said, Mom, I thought you didn't like pink, because I was wearing a pink shirt because I wanted to wear that to the doctors. And because it was, I didn't want to be hot. I wanted to be able to shed stuff. And she's like, you don't wear pink.
She gets a little proprietary over certain colors. She let go of yellow eventually. She didn't really want to give me yellow for a while. Give me yellow.
Yes.
But
because she owns all the colors.
She's come to acknowledge that we can have the non-spring version of colors, because she does the spring and summer versions, because that's her coloring.
Yes.
So we're allowed to have the others.
She's conceded that we wear a couple of the same colors.
Right.
Which is pretty funny.
Because we're exactly the same coloring just about. I mean, our hair is probably only a shade off of each other. It's hard to tell right now from Mom, because it's got the dye. Although the dye's probably mostly out, right?
Only at the roots. If you look at my roots, where I'm going, the gray coming in, but you see the dark color, my hair is almost black. Not quite black, but almost. My original hairdresser, I'm so sad, I have to give up Tabby, said that I was one shade off of black, and Ty is a little bit lighter than me, just a tad.
Yeah, enough that patients would, if they were asking about the particular nurse, I would be referred to as being black haired, even though I'm not a pure black. I have friends who had pure black hair. Messy Will, he was real black.
Yes, poor Will. He's always known in this house as Messy Will.
It was like one of those like ink black, like not.
Well, my friend Linda, had.
It's one of those that color that you don't see terribly often. That's not pulled out of dye.
Yeah, my friend Linda had.
At least not for Caucasian people.
Right. Well, and my friend Linda, her last name was Irish, so maybe that's where she got it.
Yeah.
She had hair so black that it's the first time I ever saw someone where you actually could see the blue.
Yeah, I don't think Will had the blue.
I mean, it wasn't blue, but it had
that sheen.
Yeah, when we were in college, she had the most beautiful dark hair.
And I haven't known a lot of people who have that pure black, but it's not a dye job. It's an actual, that's there.
Right, outside of certain ethnicities.
Right, outside of certain ethnicities. People who are purely Caucasian don't pull from one ethnicity or another that has that really black hair.
Right. Oh, I want to put this in my... Put these away so I only have this last project. Do you have anything else? I have one last project.
I have one as well.
Okay, so let me put this away.
Did you just show one?
What did you just show?
I showed the La Florian hood. I think this is your turn.
It is my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I figured usually when I have this much more than you, I usually end it.
Okay, this one is a new one. It's my Buy Special Request shawl, and it's from the Scrap Shawl Pattern by Anastasia Zattel. Yes, another one. No, it's not for me. It's for her. Okay.
Yes, because I don't crochet these. I tried at one point. I lost interest.
I'm using Mad Tosh in this colorway. I think this is the zing.
Well, the Mad Tosh, first of all, is there. It was a one of a kind. It came in a kit that I had gotten, where they said you aren't going to know what you get. You just are paying for this weight.
And it bounced around between us a couple times because I had.
I think you have.
Oh, do I still have it?
I think you might still have some.
Okay.
I have a couple more skeins still.
So that I have this, and then zing.
Yeah, I think you have a skein of it.
This
somewhere.
is zing.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
then I have. Is this Inkwell? What is this?
I can't see it, so I can't tell you. That's
No,
not Inkwell. That's a gray.
That's not my blue slate. That's not.
No, it's something else. I'm not sure what this is.
Taya gave me these yarns. That's why I don't know what they are.
And I don't still have the ball band for this one.
Yeah, so I have that. Those are the colors I have. Oh, and I have another one here. Let me see that one. And I haven't made a whole lot of progress on this. I just started. Oh, the other one is this one, Marigold Jen. Okay, now
because I have one of these big shawls to match my reds and yellows and oranges, but I don't have one for my blues and greens. And I was like, well, I want to have one to match all my clothes I might wear, because that's a shawl I go for naturally.
I'm trying to find the little bit that I have started. It's so crowded in here. Let me see. Did I put it in the pocket? No. What is this?
Probably from the last one you finished. Hang on, I'm going to look in here for you. because it's probably attached. There it is.
Okay.
Here you go, Mom. So she's just at the beginning with this Mad Tosh. And I have a ton of this, so I have a feeling if you start running low on yarn, this will probably be the main color.
Right.
Which is a good main color to have because it works with both. It has a little bit of green and a little bit of blue in it.
I am never sure how this is going to work out until it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, okay, whatever I feel like doing.
Yeah, and I have a ton of that particular yarn.
So it could be, you know, I think this is one of my colors. Maybe?
No, I don't think it is. I'm not sure what that is, but
I don't know why I have this.
I don't
Otherwise.
know, I haven't either.
I don't know. Okay, so this is how far I got. And I don't know what happened to my hook. It should be in here as well. Yeah, there it is. Okay. No, that's not my hook. That's something else. It's in here somewhere. Oh, it's in here. It's in the bag. Okay, so this is my Silver Shed USA PHN Faces bag. And this is my shawl pattern for Talia. Not my shawl pattern, my shawl project for Talia.
Yeah, the pattern is Anastasia.
The pattern Anastasia Sattel. And it's by special request is what it's called. So
Because I need another one.
So that's okay. She's, you know, we do this.
That'll give us each two. Because you have your blue one you made originally.
Mm-hmm. And the one I'm making.
And the one you're making. Mm-hmm. And then I have the red, orange, yellowy one. And then I'll have this one. Mm-hmm. And that'll cover all the colors I tend to wear.
Right.
And then the red, yellow, orange one can go with brown if I needed to. Mm-hmm. And the blue and green one can go with black if I needed to.
And I may eventually make one for me that's...
you might want another tone.
Like reds or something.
You don't wear as much of the orange and yellow, so you might not add those colors.
No,
you might do like red and brown or red and black or, you know.
Yeah, it'll be something else. Red and gray most likely. Mm-hmm. Grays and reds or something like that.
I don't usually see gray with red.
Oh, yeah. Depending on the red.
Maybe because I don't tend to wear a lot of gray.
Yeah, and I do. I have a fair... Of course, Davina, I like that, Mom. Because everything I wear, I have that's gray, she likes. Mm-hmm. Silver gray, because she knows that, you know, silver in yarn is basically a lighter gray, sometimes a darker gray.
Which is why I'm going to be able to get away with this sweater that I'm making her, because I couldn't find a lighter silver gray. But I think that this will go with most everything for her. Okay, so my last one is Frozen. That's a project name. The pattern name is Granville Cardigan, and it's by Fiona Ellis. It's in my PHN Faces bag. And because this is in pieces, it always feels like it's going fast. Which is, you know, satisfying. I love this yarn. It's so soft.
Yeah.
And this is shepherd's wool. So, yep, with a nice little cable growing on the side. And this has more cables than Davina's sweater, but it's still much less than the Vivian.
Right. I like the cable at the back of the hood.
Yes, well, it goes all the way down the back. You can only see part of it,
right,
because of the way that the cut is, and I can't really show you, give you the picture without showing the pattern.
Right.
But yes, and this was another one that I went through my stash of patterns and pulled out this one. I actually cast it on. Well, I went through circling my sizes, and that's when I realized that this was in pieces.
Well, I've actually been having the urge to maybe go look at... Talia got me a whole bunch of crochet sweater patterns.
Right, these were ones that when I first started crocheting sweaters, I found a bunch and I saved them in a file.
Right. Well, no, you bought me some. You actually bought me some because I was doing sweaters. I had done...
Right. Well, some of the ones in the big book you have, I gave to you because they were mine.
Right, but I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about the ones I have in my files from Ravelry.
Oh, okay.
That you gave me some, and some of them are really pretty, and maybe I can do those now.
Yeah, I think your comfort level is probably to that point.
Yeah. I just have to worry about the gauge because my gauge is kind of wonky with crochet.
I think I've noticed that for a lot of people with crochet. Just because, yeah.
And I think I'm comfortable enough now to drop down a size.
Yeah.
If it's too big. And see if that works and if that'll help. It might not work, but it's easy to pull out.
Right. Well, I've gotten to the point where I don't really mind yanking something out.
It's harder for me with knitting, and I really do need to concentrate on the classes I have that show and Kay's tutorials and stuff, and take advantage of your stuff.
Yeah.
Because I I can't see some of the stuff.
Right.
And so if I can't see it, I can't fix it. And that irritates me.
Well,
because
besides the fact of being able to fix it, the other thing is I don't mind completely pulling something out and restarting, or pulling out a project I had already finished if I need yarn and I'm not using the thing. I think I've become more. I still like having the finished object at the end, but because I'm more of a progress knitter, if I yank it back, I'm not in distress because I still had the enjoyment during that period of time of knitting on that thing.
If I'm not wearing it, I don't think I'll have a problem with ripping it back. But most of my stuff that I had that I made, I wear.
Well, I know there's at least one other shawl I'm sitting there contemplating pulling back. It's the orange and yellow one where it has bobbles on it.
Right.
Because it's not a lot of yarn that's in there, but I hardly ever wear it because it's a smaller shawl. And I just don't wear it very often.
Right. Okay, let me just finish this so we can get started on the next section here.
And when you don't quite have the ability to purchase about a bunch of yarn, you start contemplating old projects and seeing if you can forage yarn from there.
It's true. I really want to use either my water maroon or cask of Amontillado for a sweater. I would like to. I have sweaters in that color. I want another one. I do have 2 or 3 sweaters in reds, because apparently I wear a lot of those. But I do like sweaters simply because they're easy. I mean, you're not going to get overheated with them. You know,
Well, it depends on the sweater.
Well, I tend to wear a sweater like a shawl sometimes. I will take it off and let it. You saw the way I was wearing it earlier, with it just kind of wrapped on my shoulders. You know, just like this.
Well, the only problem with that for me is then if I'm a little chilly, I don't get the arm coverage that I need. But if I put the sleeves on, I get too hot.
Right.
And that's why I like to have a shawl with me as well.
Right. And I don't mind a shawl. I love shawls. I am very much a shawl person because I will wear a sweater like that as a shawl. And if it's long enough, like if it has the right construction, it will cover my arms.
Well, it's more of a shawl sweater.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I have no FOs. Do you?
No.
And I didn't yank anything out. So that leads us on to. I tried to put in my show notes my beads and string, but I have it over here.
How much do you have for that? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So first of all, the 2 orders that I got in. This one started the whole thing. This is going to be leaving the States. This is a St. Benedict rosary with a pardon crucifix.
Is that one going to Ireland? Or?
This one's going to Ireland.
Okay.
So, finished that one. So I'm hoping that it'll be good for him. And I'm making sure. I'm really trying to pay attention to how it looks and if it looks sturdy enough before I send it. Because if it doesn't look sturdy enough, I'll start it again. Because, darn it, he pays enough for shipping. He needs to get. I'm not sure it's a he or she, to be honest with you.
The person's very sweet.
Yeah. If they're going to be paying that kind of shipping, I want to make sure they're getting the best quality they can have. I mean, I want everyone, but I'll be taking a very close look at this before I send it off. Oopsie, it goes in the other bag first. And then I got another St. Joseph Rosary order using my Coyote Brown. For some reason, the Coyote Brown, you know how some yarns are a little bit of different feel, even though it's the same base, but it's different colorway.
Something that comes to mind is the Knit Picks white and cream. They seem to be a little lighter than
at
the
least in
other
Brava.
And Brava, yeah. Yep.
Now this thing was more that I had to work more to make sure it wouldn't split when I was going into the centerpiece. Not that it was it's definitely a strong cord. It's paracord. 90-pound strength is what's supposed to handle. But, yeah, there we go.
That's really pretty. I'm not a big wooden rosary fan, but I like that. That's pretty.
Well, St. Joseph has to be a wooden rosary.
Yes. Yes, or it could be stone.
I can't imagine making a stone rosary. That would break.
I'm just saying. I'm being facetious. You could get those beads that are like gemstone type quality, the marble ones, or whatever is the equivalent of that.
I'm not sure why you would say stone. We worked with wood, not stone.
No, he was considered to be a stonemason too.
I guess I never think about that. Everyone thinks he was a carpenter.
He is a carpenter, but they said if you look in the historical facts and things like that, where they go into St. Joseph Moore, they say it probably was a stonemason as well. I always think of him primarily as a carpenter, but I guess there's enough archival stuff that says he might have been both, given the times.
So this one's all but finished. I just need to trim the edges.
Oh, that's pretty.
And this is Dad's Father's Day gift.
Is that Padre Pio?
Yeah, Padre Pio. It's the one with the
Oh, right.
I can't bring the word to mind.
The relic.
Relic, thank you. Probably touched his grave or something. And then I have the nail and thorns crucifix.
Because he had the stigmata, which is the marks of the wounds of Christ on the cross.
I chose to go with the silver cord with the hematite beads because I feel like the silver cord then ties in the silver centerpiece and cross well. Because I didn't feel like the all black then with the spot of silver on the crucifix and centerpiece would look quite as nice.
Right.
So this way I feel like it ties together a little bit better. So there's that. It gives him a nice sized manly rosary.
He loves the other one you made.
The St. Joseph one.
Yeah.
And that one's even pre-paracord. But so is Davina's. But Davina can't get that cord in paracord.
No.
She takes good care of it though. So
she does. She really does.
Now this is one I made for me. I got this centerpiece as an extra with an order that I made. And I fell in love with it. And I ended up picking up more for other people so I can put it up as a listing.
I really like the way that turned out.
So this is Mystical Rose, and let me show you the beauty of this centerpiece. I fell in love with this. I'm not sure how well you can see it.
Let's see if I can get this to be straight there.
So, it has Our Lady, and she's in a little rose garden. There's pink roses in the background. And I went with ebony beads and a black, they're not black cord, I went with the navy blue cord because I went through all my blues and tried to match them against the background, and the one that looked the best with what was in the background was the navy. And it's nice because it also pulls in the black beads, I feel.
I was just going to see if you had the pink, if the roses were pink.
They are pink.
It's too bad it's so subtle though, because you could have done pink in here too.
I feel like it wouldn't have looked as nice.
No, it wouldn't have, because it's not. You can't see it as well.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like this kind of ties in the dark feel of the background. And then I went with my dark wood crucifix. This is going to live in my purse with the idea of when I go to church or whatever, I can hold on to this, or when I'm in the car. This is what I was holding on to on my way to the doctor's appointment. I might have a metal one in there too if someone needs to borrow a rosary, but that one, considering the fact that I'll probably be flaring when I'm leaving the house, it'd be good to have something that's wood that doesn't bother my hands.
Right.
So that's that one.
Okay. I don't have any graphic novel.
Okay, so then that leads us on to, I think we always flip around shop and stash enhancements.
Right.
Do you have any stash enhancement?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, we have quite a bit. So let's actually
No, we just have the one.
Oh, okay.
Do you have something?
I have one.
What is?
Well,
oh, right. We can leave it if you want, or what do you want to do?
Do you have a lot of shop news?
Nothing to show, just to tell.
Okay, let's do a quick tell of our shop news.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't really have much. My sale ended for the May sale. So nothing really new. I mean, if you're interested in roses, I have more. You'll start seeing listings coming up pretty soon of more of the colored pictured centerpieces. I have quite a few. I'm going to be starting to make more of those rosaries so you could start seeing those listings come up so people can do special orders.
Right.
So that's really exciting. I have a couple of ones that are unusual too, like Lazarus. Not the one that Jesus rose from the dead, the other one from the parable.
They're sitting at the gate.
With the dogs all around him.
Yeah.
So, so there are some unusual ones in there.
Okay, for me, I updated my shop, and I have a few more updates to make. I'm in the middle of doing a special order So I did contact the woman who contacted me about the special order. I had to wait for my minis to come in, but I'm working on that. And I had fun. When I went to my doctor's appointment, I was talking to the lady who happened to be a crafter, goes to Shenandoah Fiber Festival, the whole 9 yards. So I told her about my shop, and that evening she bought 4 skeins of yarn from me. So that was really nice.
It was a very profitable.
It was very, yeah. She and she favorited my shop and everything, so I hope she likes the yarn enough to come back. I appreciate that. And yeah, I'm intending to get more into the yarn dyeing now because things have settled down a little bit. But I have to do this special order, and I have to do the update, take the pictures for the update. I have new things in there right now. Those of you who follow my shop have probably already seen them because the last update was like 2 or 3 days ago, I think. So I have a few more to do. And when I'm doing the minis, I might, do some other skeins as well, get those into the shop. Just keep your eyes open. My sale did end. My Memorial Day sale did end. But, we'll see if I have another sale in the future a little bit. When something, probably not the 4th of July, but maybe. Keep your eyes open for that. That's about all I have to say about that.
Okay, so that leads us on to stash enhancement. I'll just do mine first because it's not craft related. Okay. So I had ordered a book of litanies, and if you're not familiar with litanies, basically you're either using it to grow to pray to grow in greater appreciation of God, so like it'll go in through all His amazing attributes, or you're praying for certain intercessions, intentions, or very many different things. And it has 116 litanies. This book was made in 1985, and I think it might actually be printed in 1985. I'd gone with the cheaper option, and the pages were glued in, and this is what happened. The whole front section, which talks about how litanies work, came out. So I can't read that section without without possibly breaking it. I did a refund option with Amazon. They said I didn't have to return the book, and they went ahead and refunded me. So I have my broken copy, and then just a couple of minutes ago arrived my replacement copy that I purchased. I used the money I got from that, plus our bank does something that when you pay off your credit card, you get points, and you can eventually get gift cards. So I cashed in my points for gift card, which will be coming in. That's covering this. But I wanted to snag this before the price went up or something. Oh, good. It does have a little thing. I hoped it would. So this is actually sewn in, and so it'll stay together better. And it's just, like I said, a more sturdy version of the other one. And this will be the one I use. And I can take this with me places and not feel like it's going to, break on me.
Right.
So that'll be good.
It's a very nice book. Okay, the other stash enhancement. This was for lovely Mama C, who's Christina. And she, along with Margaret, have been instrumental in making sure you guys have nice prizes. Okay? So this is going to be for our autism awareness. So that's what we're doing right now. And she sent along, okay, this here is, this is super soft. I think this is a single ply and is amazingly soft. So these go to one person. Okay. Isn't that pretty?
That is pretty.
And then this one goes to the second winner. And this is Encore yarn. I love Plymouth Encore yarn. This is really good. So this is a, it's a wool blend. Let's see. Yes. It's 75% acrylic, 25% wool. And it's approximately 200 yards. And I think this probably a worsted. So this is a really nice, it'd make a nice hat or something like that. And these, I'm not sure what the yardage is in this. She has the tags in here. So let me see. This is another worsted weight. And this is Juniper Moon, which is really nice. It's called Cumulus Dappled. And the colorway is...
Like a cumulus cloud?
Yeah. And this is Kokomo Blues. 94% cotton and 6% nylon. This is incredibly soft.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for cotton. Feel this tight. It's cotton.
It would still bother me.
I know, but feel how soft
It is very soft.
So these will be the, thank you very much, Christina. These are autism awareness
And
prizes.
I only say it still bother me because I'm not a cotton person. Cotton feels weird to me.
Yeah.
But
This is
it's very soft, and if I liked cotton, I would totally knit with that.
So these are autism awareness prizes. Thank you very, very much, Christina. Okay.
So yeah, I just want to emphasize I'm touch sensitive. That's the only there's nothing wrong with the yarn.
Right.
It's
Okay.
beautiful yarn.
Now we have to move along because I hear my husband out there.
Yes.
So I'm going to go very quickly in terms of the fact for writing. We had lots of brainstorming.
Something that's going to be change the whole face of everything that we've thought of for the past 10 years.
Yes. And we did a lot of reading. Did you do a lot of reading as well? We don't have to go through the books. We have to get going.
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, I was going to hit on titles without just going. I did a lot of Agatha Christie's.
Yeah, and I did. I finished one of my books, Belgravia.
I finished 4 Agatha Christie's.
Yeah, and I'm almost finished with Dragonback. But the other
I
things.
mean, you can follow me on Goodreads.
Right, and we can go through this more next week. But
Well, they won't still be on my list next week.
no, but it's just if we have to
Yeah.
truncate something, we have to do it there. We were going to talk about the doctor's appointments and things like that. I'm not sure we have time unless we can do it briefly.
We can do brief.
Yeah, because we both had doctor's appointments this time. Oh, yeah. I'll do mine first because it's not consequential, really.
Well, we say our goodbyes and then we do that because people.
Oh, right. Okay.
Mom's kind of flustered because she can hear Dad moving out there.
Yeah. Okay, so we if I don't thank you in person, it's because I didn't see you.
Personally, not in person.
Yeah. This is these are people I saw as I was preparing this morning. So we do thank everybody who commented in either place, okay? Either the home or at the YouTube. So I want to thank Barbara, Brittany, Warm Wishes in Every Stitch, Eileen, Looney Hiker, Kara.
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 I'm sorry. Kara, yes.
Kara. Stephanie and Wendy, who is MacGyver. Thank you very, very much for your comments. And now, if you don't want to hear live stuff, we'll say goodbye and we hope to see you next week. Oh, and if you are leaving and you're a Patreon, we have our live stream Thursday, not Friday.
Not
okay?
Friday, Thursday.
Okay, so we will say goodbye to you guys. I hope to see you next week. Have a blessed week.
Yeah,
okay?
it's only being messed up because we have hair appointments.
Yeah, finally. Okay, so I will go through mine really quick because it's inconsequential. Basically, I had to go for an ultrasound just to rule out any difficulties, and the ultrasound was fine. I've got a clear bill of health for all the, for the blood work I had done earlier, for the female exam, and for the ultrasound. So thankful for that. Just an update because I know people like to have that kind of stuff, and I appreciate your concern. Thank you.
It's not yet a check for her to get the rheumatologist. That is something she still needs to do.
Well, yeah, I can only do so much at one time.
Yeah, but I just because I know there's people who know that you wanted to see a rheumatologist, so just to make sure they know that that's not related to that. It's something else.
Right.
Then for me, I saw my specialist yesterday, and basically they said that yes, the weather is the main cause of my fatigue right now. There's not a whole lot they can do with the increased fatigue, but with some of the other symptoms, they said that's mast cell, the burning in my throat, some of the other things. So they've added another antihistamine on board, and also we've added on a PRN, as needed, anti-emetic nausea medicine. So, that I can take just when I feel nauseated, which will be nice. I honestly should have asked for one a long time ago.
Right.
So, it was a good appointment. Was totally wiped out afterwards, but
yeah, it was all day.
It was because they had someone who was super impatient there because they were waiting. I think it was their first time.
Yeah.
And they had to be told, well, when you see the doctor, for one thing, we were behind today. They had a medical emergency. But for another thing, they're like, when you see the doctor, you really had to plan for like 3 or 5 hours. Because a lot of times these people they didn't say this much, but a lot of times when you come to the specialist, this is the first time you're getting someone who's listening to you and who they have to go through all the details and stuff. So it does take a little bit longer, and they have to give everyone the time that they need. So if you want to have the same time spent on you, it's really you just get used to the idea that it's going to take a little bit of time.
You just bring stuff with you. You're knitting, or reading,
whatever
game,
it
whatever
is.
it is that keeps you occupied.
But, you know, when he found out he was a nurse, he really was like, oh, we should get you better so we can get you working for us. Thanks, Doc, for the job offer.
Not driving her all the way out there.
But we're talking about an allergist eventually if this doesn't work, just because. But the concern is, of course, allergists don't know a lot about mast cell because it's kind of an unusual thing. But yay, 2 new medicines. We will see how this goes. They're supposed to arrive today or tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Monday.
So that's all we have to say. So we want to say thank you for joining us here for the Fun in the Woman Cave this week. We hope to see you here next week as well. We wish you a week full of every good thing, knitting, crocheting, crafting, whatever it is that makes you happy. And remember, Patreon's Thursday, not Friday. We hope to see you next week for the Fun in the Woman Cave. This is the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast, episode 457, and that's a wrap.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I never say bye-bye.
I just did.
Obviously.